Most of us likely know the stratospheric levels of hubris and conceit many politicians can achieve as they constantly press onward after exposing their towering hypocrisy. They constantly climb to new ear-popping heights of lowness. But California Governor Gavin Newsom's latest display of insulting pathological posturing might put many others to shame. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV, and here's the story. On Thursday, January 9th, CNN broadcast to its tiny viewership an on-the-street interview by Anderson Cooper with Newsom. And as the glow of hellfire and smoke rose like Cthulhu behind them, Cooper tipped his hand on his own bias by saying to Newsom,
"I hate to even ask this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this."
In other words, Cooper implies that Trump's criticism is ill-advised, perhaps misplaced or incorrect, or perhaps, what seems most clear in his implication, perhaps the criticism is uncalled for and uncouth. And of course, he claims that Trump's criticism of Newsom's policies is an attack, which some might see as a fair descriptor, while others might take the word as a prejudicial descriptor, painting Newsom as a poor, innocent victim of the exploitative Trump. And as revealing as Cooper's question is, Newsom's answer is both shocking and even more revealing.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, it's people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't.
So, off that grandiloquent pomposity and deflection, let's dive into the hypocrisy. Let's step back to 2020. September of 2020 to be exact, and the days immediately following what now is known as the Creek wildfire. That's a fire that the feds claim lightning started in the poorly managed Sierra National Forest. It wiped out nearly 380,000 acres in Fresno and Madera counties, destroyed half of the homes in Big Creek, and caused $500 million in damage. If folks didn't get to hear about the poorly managed federal lands, or if they weren't aware of the fact that the U.S. Constitution doesn't allow the feds to own or operate any land other than an area for the capital, military garrisons, and territories, they might remember one flagrantly, jaw-droppingly infuriating aspect of that terrible period. It came when Gavin Newsom turned the burned-out cinders of a private home into a public relations set piece. I remember it. In fact, on September 18th, 2020, I wrote about it for MRC-TV, noting that Newsom not only brought along then VP candidate Senator Kamala Harris, they brought with them a literal photography pool as they traipsed around on other people's property that had been devastated, in which the owners, who were in an entirely different state, didn't know had been burned to ashes until they saw Newsom and Harris online kicking through the remains of their home. Here's how the man who dislikes politicizing tragedies like wildfires acted at the time, complete with Newsom's regurgitation of his unfounded, inapplicable climate change canard. Fox 26's TV reporter Marie Endiger notes, quote, "An Aubrey family says California Governor Gavin Newsom and Vice Presidential candidate Kamala Harris trespassed during their tour of Creek fire damage." This, a photo op which Newsom used September 15th, 2020 to tweet the mystical nonsense, "Climate change is real," without, of course, offering any viable supportive information, because he can't, because there isn't any supportive information, that anthropogenic climate change is anything more than politically manipulated data sets, and that even if there were man-made global warming, climate change, it's unethical to claim that any fire, let alone the California fires, are connected to this boogeyman. In fact, as Anthony Watts noted on September 16th, 2020, quote, using satellite technology, NASA determined that between 2003 and 2019, global fires have dropped by roughly 25%. This makes the climate change is worsening wildfires argument completely moot. Don't expect Gavin or Kamala to tweet the above info and link anytime soon, I wrote, end quote. And they did not. They did not apologize for their acts of trespass in 2020. They didn't apologize for their opportunism. So it rings hollow for Newsom to claim that Trump is politicizing the fires. And this double standard becomes even more infuriating when one realizes that Trump, a property developer who for decades has had to consider and mitigate fire liabilities, offered valid points about the poorly managed government lands, and that he has, at least since 2018, implored the California government to clear dead brush and better husband the state-run wilderness. By the way, in 2018, 85 people died in the Camp wildfire near Paradise, California. 18,000 buildings were ruined and 153,000 acres were torched, and the source of the fire was pinpointed to Pacific gas and electric power lines, shedding sparks on government land, a problem for which PG&E, the state-granted essential monopoly for power in California, was convicted on 84 felony counts. Today, Newsom adds to the history of mismanaged government power and tries to claim Trump is politicizing the matter. Now, here's a tip for Governor Newsom. Everything the polis does is, by definition, political. By laying claims over the land, the water, the fire teams, and by renting their public lands to power monopoly Pacific Gas and Electric and their spark-tossing power lines, the polis has taken over what should be private property control and real liability adoption. They've stolen personal control from what should be real property owners and shifted it, politicized it, turned all of it into the tragedy of the commons while destroying responsibility and increasing the moral hazards and risks of externalities associated with bad decisions. Anyone familiar with economics, ethics, or even the meaning of the word polis can grasp these facts. And today, Newsom bickers and tries to deflect. He erroneously claims that Trump never tried to open up water availability to California, when in fact, Trump moved to redirect millions of gallons of water from going into the sea, and Newsom sued to stop the action. You know, back in 2020, Fox 26 reported on what the son of the homeowners thought of Newsom and Harris's opportunistic posture on their burned out land. Quote, "What has me really frustrated right now is the fact that these two politicians use my parents' loss for a photo opportunity to push their political agenda. Political party wouldn't have made a difference in this moment. Decent human beings that have character and class wouldn't air someone else's misfortune on national television." End quote. Indeed. Decent human beings wouldn't do that. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Find us on Rumble, where they don't censor us. Please share the videos from Rumble as well. And follow us over there. That's a really good site that doesn't censor, and we really appreciate it. Of course, MRC TV is on YouTube, and they do censor. Double check that you're subscribed if you are subscribed there, and please find us at MRCTV.org, MRCTV.org, where you can see what the whole team is doing. Check out the store, and please consider donating to the Media Research Center. Find us inside Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, TikTok, we'll see, and check us out on X, and you can always find me on Gab as @GardnerGoldsmith and on X as @GardGoldsmith. See you over there. Thanks for watching, everyone. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.